If you claim Social Security at 62 because you're afraid the system will run out of money, you could be making the single most expensive mistake of your entire retirement. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because I've watched too many hardworking Americans leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table simply because no one pulled them aside and explained how the timing decision really works. This isn't about politics, and it isn't about whether Social Security will be there. It will be there. This is about a trap that looks like freedom, and once you step into it, you cannot go back. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because by the time we're done, you'll understand exactly why the age 62 decision changes everything. And more importantly, you'll know how to avoid walking into a financial wall you didn't even see coming. Let's start with the feeling that pushes so many people toward that magic number. You've worked your entire life. You're tired. Maybe your body is telling you to slow down. Your friends are retiring. You look at your statement and see that you're finally eligible to collect what you earned. And someone at work or in your family says, "Why wouldn't you take it as soon as you can? After all, you don't know how long you're going to live. You want to enjoy the money while you're healthy." That logic sounds reasonable, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. It feels right in your gut, but it goes against decades of actuarial data and the real-life experiences of millions of retirees who later wish they had waited. Here's the math that nobody likes to talk about, but you need to hear it clearly. Your full retirement age, depending on the year you were born, is likely somewhere between 66 and 67. That's the age when you qualify for your full benefit, also called your primary insurance amount. Every year you claim before that full retirement age, your benefit is permanently reduced. And when I say permanently, I mean it. This is not a temporary haircut that goes away once you hit full retirement age. The reduction stays with you for the rest of your life. If your full retirement age is 67 and you claim at 62, you're looking at roughly a 30% permanent reduction in your monthly check. Let that sink in. You are locking in a 30% pay cut on one of the only guaranteed inflation-adjusted income streams you will ever have. Now, I want you to think about what that actually means when you translate it from a percentage into real dollars. Imagine your full retirement age benefit would be $2,000 a month. If you wait until 67, you get $2,000 a month for life, plus all the annual cost of living adjustments. If you claim at 62, you're not getting $2,000. You're getting about $1,400. That's $600 less every single month. Over the course of a year, that's $7,200 you didn't get. Over 10 years, that's $72,000. And if you live into your late 80s or 90s, which many people in our audience will, the gap could easily exceed $100,000 in lost benefits. That's money you earned. That's money that belongs to you. And the only reason you didn't get it is because you pushed the button too early. But here's where the trap really tightens its grip. When you take benefits at 62, you're not just getting a reduced monthly amount. You're also limiting your ability to earn additional income if you decide to keep working part-time. The Social Security Administration has something called the earnings test, and it applies to anyone who claims before their full retirement age. In 2026, if you're under full retirement age for the entire year, you can only earn a certain amount from work before they start withholding benefits. For every $2 you earn above that limit, they withhold $1 from your benefits. That limit changes annually with inflation, but the concept remains the same. So many people claim at 62 thinking they'll work a little on the side, only to find out that their Social Security check gets clawed back because they earned too much. Now you're in a situation where you've locked in a permanently reduced benefit, and the part-time income you were counting on is being partially offset by withheld payments. It's a double punch that leaves you with less security, not more. Let's address the biggest fear head on because I know it's sitting in the back of your mind. Every time I have this conversation with someone considering claiming at 62, they say something like, "But what if I wait and don't live long enough to make it worth it?" I understand why you feel that way. None of us knows how much time we have. But you have to consider the flip side of that coin. The much bigger risk for most Americans in this age group is not dying too young. The bigger risk is living a very long life and running out of money. We are living longer than ever before. A healthy 62-year-old woman today has a very good chance of seeing her 90th birthday. If you claim at 62, you are betting that you won't live long. That's a bet you do not want to win. The entire purpose of Social Security is to provide a foundation of income that you can never outlive. When you claim early, you deliberately shrink that foundation, and you do so at exactly the moment when you need it to be as strong as possible for the decades ahead. There's another piece of this puzzle that very few people talk about, and it has to do with your spouse. If you are married, your decision to claim at 62 doesn't just affect you. It cascades into your spouse's future, especially if you are the higher earner. When you pass away, your spouse will receive a survivor benefit based on what you were receiving. If you claimed early and locked in a permanently reduced benefit, that reduced amount becomes the basis for the survivor benefit your spouse will live on. So your decision to grab the money early could mean that your wife or your husband spends the final years of their life on a much smaller check than they otherwise would have received. I have spoken to widows who were shocked to learn that their survivor benefit was slashed not because of anything they did, but because their spouse claimed at 62. You owe it to the person you love to at least consider that before making a choice you cannot undo. Now let's talk about the psychology of claiming at 62, because this is where even smart people fall into the trap. When you see that money start hitting your bank account, it feels like a victory. You tell yourself you're getting your money back from the government. You feel independent. You feel like you've outsmarted the system. What you don't feel is the slow erosion of your future purchasing power. You don't feel the cost of inflation eating away at a smaller base because you're too busy enjoying the checks arriving every month. But 10 or 15 years later, when your 401k has been drawn down and your expenses have crept up, that reduced Social Security check starts to feel very small. And by then, there is nothing you can do about it. You cannot call up the Social Security Administration and say, "I'd like a do-over." There is a narrow window, generally within the first 12 months of claiming, where you can withdraw your application and pay back all the benefits you received. Very few people do this because it requires coming up with a large lump sum. After that window closes, the decision is sealed permanently. So what should you do instead of rushing to claim at 62? The answer is not the same for everyone. But there are strategies that can dramatically improve your lifetime benefit. One of the most powerful is simply delaying until your full retirement age if you can. And if you have the resources to delay even further, to age 70, you receive delayed retirement credits that add up to 8% per year. That means waiting from 67 to 70 could boost your benefit by 24%. And that's on top of the fact that you avoided the early reduction. You're not just getting a bigger check. You're getting a bigger check with a higher base for all future cost of living adjustments. Over a long retirement, that difference is staggering. I know what you might be thinking. That sounds great, but I don't have enough savings to bridge the gap between 62 and 67 or 70. I can't just wait. And that's a valid concern. But before you accept the 62 solution as the only option, consider alternatives you may not have explored. You might be able to work part-time in a role that keeps you below the earnings limit and allows you to delay claiming. You might be able to draw down a portion of your retirement savings strategically, using those years to spend down taxable accounts while letting your Social Security benefit grow. You might even be able to use a reverse mortgage or other tool to create a bridge of income that gets you to your full retirement age without locking in a reduced benefit for life. This is where sitting down with a fiduciary financial planner can pay for itself many times over. The fee you pay for good advice is nothing compared to the 6 figures you could lose by making the wrong Social Security decision. Let me share one more thing that's crucial to understand. The system is not designed to punish you for claiming at 62. Actuarially, the Social Security Administration intends for the total lifetime benefits to be roughly equal whether you claim early or late, assuming you live to an average life expectancy. But here's the key word in that sentence: average. Your life is not an average. You might be healthier than average. You might have parents who lived into their 90s. You might be taking better care of yourself than the typical person your age. If you have any reason to believe you'll live longer than the statistical average, waiting is mathematically superior. And in my experience, most people underestimate their own longevity. They look around at others who seem to have health struggles, and they assume they're in the same boat. But you are not a statistic. You are an individual with a unique health history, a unique family background, and a unique financial picture. You owe it to yourself to make the decision based on your reality, not on fear. I want you to think about your retirement as a long road trip. Claiming at 62 is like starting your trip with a smaller gas tank. You get on the road faster and it feels great initially, but you're going to have to stop for fuel more often, and you're going to be watching that gas gauge with anxiety as the miles pile up. Waiting until your full retirement age, or better yet, age 70, is like investing in a much larger tank. It takes a little longer to get going, but once you're on the highway, you can cruise with confidence, knowing you have the reserves to handle whatever detours life throws at you. The road ahead is long, and you deserve to drive it with peace of mind, not with a knot in your stomach every time you check your balance. I also need you to understand that this decision is not just a math problem. It's an emotional decision, and the system knows that. The government gives you the option to claim at 62 for a reason. They know that many people are tired, worn down, and eager to start collecting what they feel is theirs. They also know that the early claiming penalty saves the program money in the long run because so many people jump at the chance without fully calculating the cost. Every year, millions of Americans walk into this trap willingly, and by the time they realize what happened, the window to fix it has already closed. You have the chance right now to be one of the people who gets this right. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a simple question to ask yourself whenever you feel the pull to claim at 62. Ask yourself, what am I giving up, and can I live with that trade-off for the next 30 years? If you can honestly look at the numbers, understand the permanent reduction, consider your spouse's future, evaluate your health and family history, and still feel confident that claiming at 62 is the right move, then you make that decision with your eyes wide open. But if you feel even a flicker of doubt, I urge you to pause. Do not let fear of missing out push you into a choice that you cannot reverse. This is one of those rare moments in life where patience is not just a virtue. It is a financial strategy with a proven return. Now, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If this information helped you see the age 62 decision in a new light, please take a second to like this video. It tells the YouTube algorithm that this content matters and helps us reach more people who are standing at this exact crossroads. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We publish new videos every week covering Social Security, Medicare, retirement planning, taxes, and all the financial topics that matter most to you. Finally, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the one thing that's been keeping you up at night about your Social Security decision? Share your thoughts below. I read the comments, and your question might be the topic of a future video. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your retirement deserves careful thought, and you deserve every dollar you've worked so hard to earn.